Now, picking up where the show leaves off, and the buzz continues, it's AfterBuzz TV for The Walking Dead.
Hey, everybody, thank you for joining us for another AfterBuzz Walking Dead Season 2, Episode 2, entitled Bloodletting. I'm your host, John Comerford. I'm joined in the studio here by the young phenom, Big Ben, and also Phil Svitek, producer, engineer extraordinaire.
Did you say Ben's last name? Ben Bottomley.
I said Big Ben.
Okay. Yeah, well, his name's Ben Bottomley.
That's my last name. Bottomley.
But why are you telling me that?
I don't know. So he spreads his name so people know. By the way, we are also in Studio B.
Yeah, okay.
Well, because we finally got streaming capabilities. For those of you who were wondering, well, why?
Anything else you guys want to diss before we start the show? Is there anything else, other mistakes you want to point out, or is it okay? We can move on.
Well, you're like the Rick of our group, where we want you to lead, but we can still criticize.
You want to criticize as we go?
You're a bit short.
You guys might want to let me know ahead of time if you want your name said a certain way. Maybe that'd be helpful. Or if you want me to note that it's a Studio B or anything. Anything else like that you want me to start off? Tell me before we actually go on the air. That would be nice.
Not me.
One final note. So for those of you listening, if you guys want to check us out live, it's Sunday nights. We're right now we're doing it I guess it would be 2 hours after the show ends, or an hour after the show ends. Actually, we'll start to do it right after. And so that's on ustream.tv/AfterBuzzTV2, like the old days on TV and MTV2.
Yeah, and we won't show videos here either.
We won't. Anyway, John, take us away.
Well, I'm actually I want to get started now. You're going to
show
just
over.
pick it in every moment. Well, the first thing I want to start off with is I'm disappointed. I wanted to see some kills today. I only got one.
Yeah.
Anybody else have that feeling?
Yeah, I definitely do.
That's one of the reasons why you do the show, right?
To the show,
I thought for sure when we got to the high school with Shane and Otis and all those walkers just floating around, that was fish in a barrel. I thought, we're going to have some nice moments here.
Yeah, I mean, John, you have to speak about what happened with the premiere episode.
Okay, well, the scuttlebutt that we've heard from many fans, and it's also on a lot of the sites and stuff. They were how do I say this? Because we like the show, we want to promote the show, but they were somewhat disappointed by the wasn't reaching the hype, shall we say?
Well, here's the tough part, I guess. You're waiting a year for this.
Yeah.
It was a long wait, and I almost think they should have prepped it better. Like that's why realizing back on it now, Ben and I wanted that scene of the walkers chasing Rick. The iconic moment of the trailer.
That might have been. I thought that might have been Shane, and I think we're seeing that next week. But the
point
I get where you're coming from.
The point is we wanted that.
Yeah, I mean, I get what everyone is saying, that they were disappointed that they didn't see it in the first episode. But I think if it's a TV series, a 13-episode series, and they're showing a trailer for the entire season,
right,
you've got to wait more than just the first episode.
But you can't.
You can't expect all of that.
Well, that's a double-edged sword. I mean, because they're doing a great job marketing and promoting, and you're getting it hyped up and everything like that. But then if you set that out there, you're setting up yourself. You got to hit that.
And especially
people are going to be disappointed.
And here's the thing. Here's how it should work. You really got to come out strong with that first episode after that year, and then you can kind of mid-season have those lulls.
You got to capitalize upon all that hype that you've created. And for a lot of people, it didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all fans of the show and stuff like that. But we're obviously going to keep tuning in. But there are a lot of people that say, "Okay, I'll check it out." Everybody's talking about it, and then they went, "What's the big deal?" You didn't have that feeling? You weren't disappointed all last week?
No. I mean, you do have to. Everything you said is right, but I was
thoroughly satisfied.
I was satisfied. Yeah. After seeing the first season,
yeah,
I just wanted more, and they brought me more, and I can wait for the action-packed scenes.
But today you said you were disappointed that you wanted some more.
Well, I wanted some more, but it's not going to turn me off from the show entirely.
I
enjoyed the episode, and I know it's coming, and that gives me more of a reason to keep watching.
I find it funny though because they've almost set up this myth that they have to have a certain amount of kills per episode. And the writers probably go,
only one this week.
Exactly, and they probably just want to tell a good story rather than have to meet some sort of idea out there about how many walkers they have to kill and how many different ways and all that kind of stuff.
Well, I don't know if it's necessarily how many, but I think it's the way in which and how we interact. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like today when we saw, when you see that, we've gotten so accustomed to they come upon and they see all these walkers. It needs to keep fresh somehow.
Yeah, and that's going to be the hard part for them is how do they keep making it interesting and new and fresh? Because otherwise it will get tiresome.
Well, a horse pie is pretty good.
Yeah, that was amazing. That was nice. And I think it was great because it was in honor of the World Series, which is being played right now. She used a bat, so you got it like that.
Yeah, and it was also pretty cool that I was kind of disappointed that last year the horse died immediately. It was the Walking Dead, coming soon in trailers and him riding in on a horse and everything.
Yeah, and then
it's
immediately. It's gone.
Yeah,
so,
I
but I have to say that I also appreciated Daryl's finishing off of it. It was almost reminiscent, a little bit like what it reminded me of, which is Indiana Jones and the first
Raiders of the Lost
Ark. When the guy pulls out the bullwhip and he just shoots him. Because the guy just pops his head, shoots him and walks away.
That was
nice. There you go. Nice little humor there for me. Does anybody else find those things funny?
I like those. Yeah.
Because I know a lot of people are really turned off by the gore. I mean, they like the gore, but they can't watch it. But I find a lot of it very funny. It's in a macabre way. Because
speaking of that, I can watch all of the zombie kills fine. When it's them, it's just whatever. But that surgery scene.
Oh, yeah, I get it. Yeah, because that's real. I mean,
the
zombies are not even human beings. So it's like,
that was hard to watch.
That was nasty. Poor kid.
Yeah.
I like the part that I thought was great with the kid. They're struggling. He's screaming. The poor kid. He pulls the gun. He goes, "Okay, one down, 5 to go."
I almost wanted him to say 1 down, 80 to go.
Yeah, something like that. I'm going, give the kid something. Put him out for crying out loud. Poor kid. I mean, I know you couldn't, everything like that, but geez, you just want to be able to put. I just felt bad for the kid. Of course, that little the kid, but zombies can get their crap, machete across. Hey, whatever.
We welcome that.
Yeah, exactly. We welcome that. We appreciate that. So that's the part I like.
Yeah.
That's the other thing I want to talk about with Shane. I thought it was really interesting how Shane was, this isn't the right term, but comforting Rick, and this isn't the right term, but the way he was talking to him about Lori and how strong she was for Rick when he was in the hospital, I thought that was really interesting based on what we've seen so far. I mean, last week he wanted to leave because, Rick's back and he's just in the way and it's better for everybody if he takes off. And now he's saying this to Rick, and I'm thinking, why is he saying all this? I mean, obviously he's not going to be with Lori, but, it was interesting that is he doing this out of guilt because he feels really bad because of the way he manipulated his...
This is on topic, but not with what you are trying to get into.
Right,
but it's the fact that Shane's now been at both times, when Rick got shot and when Carl got shot.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably the reason why it's weighing on him. I don't know what effect it's having on him. And for the teaser, I really like the teaser that we got at the start of the episode because if he knew that bit of information that Lori didn't quite know if she wanted to stay with Rick, she said we got married too young. Very interesting point. he obviously doesn't know about, but we now do.
Yeah, I thought actually we were talking about that earlier. The point that the parallel scene between the first sequence when Shane comes to tell Laurie about Rick, and then Laurie has to tell Carl about Rick. So you see how they shot that, and how they played that out, and it was in ML. Well, yeah, it was ML. No, they had music playing, I believe, but you didn't hear her conversation with them. It was great that we sat back and looked at it because we already knew the information we didn't need to hear. We just needed to see the reaction of Carl. And then when later on in the episode when Laurie's riding up on the horse, and then you get to see play it out again, and this time Rick is talking commiserating with Laurie about Carl. I thought that was an interesting play. We were talking about that earlier. Was that effective for you how they did that?
Yeah, that was pretty. I mean, obviously I knew. Not obviously, when they showed that first scene, I knew that's coming back as it always does.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was pretty cool to see that parallel scene, and you just knew what was happening. But
And is this the first time? Because we knew that Rick had told Shane that he was having problems with Laurie way back in season 1. Is this the first time we heard Laurie say the same thing? Because I don't remember ever saying that.
as I'm fairly certain, this is the first time she said.
So
anything
it was
about
from both. So in a weird way, this stuff was bringing them closer together.
Yeah.
Strange.
Maybe people in hard times should just go get shot.
I'm writing that one. That's a good time. Honey, we're having difficulty. Get to 38.
Life advice.
Thank you. Oh wait, that's Ben Bodley giving that advice.
I'm gonna compile my quotes and release a book.
My friend says.
The views expressed herein and those of the host only do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank
Do
you
not
very
shoot.
much. Thank you very much. All right. What about speaking of that? But now speak to my point though. Okay, does Shane saying all that stuff out of guilt because of the way he manipulated Laurie, and he's trying to get right that wrong and get them to care for each other? What do you think?
Here's why I say, I mean, maybe, but it must be pretty rooted subconsciously because as they're doing the surgery, he yells at Rick like, "Give him your blood!" Like, and the fact that he reacts that quick, there's no fourth on that.
Shane was yelling at Rick.
Yeah,
Rick was like in shock and wasn't. Carl needed blood, and Shane was there to make Rick give him blood.
No, I remember all that. I don't remember it being that big of a deal. I mean, I
thought
remember saying,
it was
"I'll pick
big,
you up if you try to leave," but yeah.
No, that was when they were speaking
later.
together. But in the moment when they first, when they're getting out the first bullet or whatever, that was when Shane yells at Rick, and it was the first time kind of Shane really stood up against Rick.
I stood up against him. I'm sorry. I'm
No, that's not against him. The point is that he was so reactionary that there was. I don't know. It's
I think you're proving my point. When he's talking to him later, it's not reactionary.
No,
He's had time to think. He's had time to consider what he's going to say. In fact, what he said beforehand seems thoughtful and considered. And so now he says this, and that's what I'm wondering. That's the point I'm going. Why is he bothering to say that? Why is he? What makes him say that? What other reason could it be? That's what I'm asking. Was he guilt at it? Is he trying to right or wrong? Is he trying to get the two back together? What's that about? No opinions on that?
I think he's trying to right or wrong.
I don't know. Shane is a really hard character for me to figure out. Like
His motivations are hidden. Or you just
I don't know what his motivations are.
Yeah.
I mean, he tried to save Rick in the hospital, but
Right.
things all went wrong,
Right.
and he only was with Laurie because he believed Rick was dead.
He seriously thought he was dead.
And then Rick came back and he stopped that.
Right.
Because Rick is his buddy, I guess. Now, I don't know what he's trying to do, or what he thinks. Like, I just can't figure him out.
So we're undecided.
Here's
about
a-
We know he.
I have a bit of a spoiler alert.
Okay.
I'm
Covering
talking
my
right now.
ears.
But so once again, this is a spoiler.
Spoiler.
If you go on IMDb, Shane's in 19 episodes, which means he's in for the whole season.
Sure.
Right.
So he's not going anywhere.
Well, yeah, I wasn't suggesting that he was, but okay.
Yeah, well,
Good to
some
know
people might have thought,
that he was really going to take off.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you got to have that love.
and maybe
triangle
he
as well.
does for half an episode.
Could be. Yeah, but I mean that love child thing. You can play that forever. So it would be crazy thing to let that thing go.
Again, I mean,
Getting
getting back
crazier
to
things. What's that?
emotions. That scene where he was yelling at Rick. What were you saying? Like he was. What were you saying his motives were?
I wasn't saying. I think
okay.
deep down, I mean, at the very least, he really loves Carl.
Yeah, because
So that we can confirm. Check.
I think
there.
that's what he.
Yeah, he does.
That's really like the only thing that I can base what I think he's doing off of.
But I also
But
think,
I think
let me say,
Rick is living the life he wants to.
that's what. Yeah, and
He
I
wants
think,
to have the wife. He wants to have the kid, and he wants to be the sheriff. That's what I think it is.
and could it be that he now has decided to live vicariously through Rick
Uh-huh.
by giving him this advice? It's like, dude. Like be the man
yeah,
you're supposed to be, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sit on the sidelines and be miserable,
Well,
but you have to live this life so I can be vicarious.
I was ready to step into your shoes and take over for you, but now that I can't, you better live it the way I would have lived it.
Exactly.
That's what he's doing. So.
Is that not? I think
No,
that's great.
That's great. That's great. That
There
makes
you
him
go.
feel
Glad
he's
you explained
going to be constantly disappointed because he's never going to live up to his expectations. Perfect. I think it's going to be great.
I think you know what? In simplest terms, I think that's what it comes down to. I'm glad we actually figured it out and took the time.
Okay. See?
There we go.
So we didn't know the answer either.
I know. I have to keep forcing you to answer my question. All right. So let's go and move on to the doctor. The other thing I wanted to talk about. I thought the doc was great, by the way. I mean, I knew early on. I said this can't be a full doctor. There has to be something wrong with him. I think it was just wonderfully what's the word? Coincidental that they happened upon a farm with the doctor. But he couldn't be a full-fledged doctor. It's got to be something. Turns out he's a vet, so that was nice. A little twist, but you kind of knew something was going to happen. But I love what he was talking about on the porch with Rick when they were talking. He was saying stuff about how. This is what happens to us. This is what we do. Something comes along like this age or whatever, and it kicks our butt for a while, but we finally catch up to it, and then we start righting the wrong. And that this is nature's way of balancing, get the balance back. And isn't that always the case? I mean, it's almost always true. We sit there and we're so lazy. But this gets really bad. It's like, so it's gonna be fine. Until it gets so bad, we have to do something. I mean, that's what human nature is. That's why everybody has to have a bottom line. And don't you find this to be true?
Yeah.
Oh, it's very true.
Yeah.
I mean, our whole life is homeostasis.
Yeah, exactly. We just don't mess up our equilibrium, please. And until
I'm impressed that people eating each other is enough for us to do something.
okay. Well,
I mean, it's kind of.
That one goes
When you go to a very primitive sense of things,
Yeah.
I'm going to borrow this from Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight, but
Okay.
but people most reveal themselves before their death,
Mhm.
especially if you're the one about to actually kill them,
Uh-huh.
because a character is revealed through action. When it's a life and death situation, in most sense, that's where your true character comes
that's
out.
where you really find out what you're made of. I mean, let's all just talk about what I do in that situation. Or I would. It doesn't mean anything until you're actually in the situation, and we can really see what you would do.
Yeah.
That's what I always find so fascinating because you really get to find out who you are. And sometimes it surprises the hell out of you because either you didn't know you had it in you, or you can't believe you're that much of a chicken.
Yeah, but most people, if they're really a chicken, they blame it on something
Oh,
else.
that's true. But have you ever got one of those situations where you get caught where you just had no idea how you were going to respond and you surprised yourself?
I have, sure.
Okay.
But not in a life and death
Not
situation.
like that, but and so it surprised you to the point where wow, I just had no idea that was going to happen.
I mean, I think you kind of get that in sports a lot.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially if you're playing
That's
like a
a
big
good
team, you kind of rise to the occasion, and you never knew what you could fully do.
Yeah.
So
That's great about those situations.
it is.
So had they talked about a cure before? I kind of posed this question earlier.
I think
This is the
they-
first time somebody outside the group. Well,
Well, I
everybody-
don't know. I
With
think
the
at the
CDC,
CDC, yeah,
yeah.
I think they're talking to that doctor about because the doctor was
But
working on something.
On a cure, was he the reason why it happened?
He was the reason, but they also kind of they touched upon a cure, but
Was he the reason? I thought he was just studying it and learning it, and
Well,
he was trying to find a cure.
yeah.
That's good stuff. So we don't really know. Sure.
Or we just don't remember.
Well, it could be that, but I mean, then our fans. We need to have our fans write in and talk about it. Tell us what they know.
I mean, I forget to the folks. I think it was a little bit of both. I mean, he had studied the disease. We know he had studied the disease. That I can honestly say because he said like how the brain changed, and the whole point was that you're not really you.
You come back, but not completely. Yeah.
I guess my point is, it's the first time, it's only second episode of the second season. So, but they started talking about cure.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, I'm asking the question, you think they're laying in the groundwork for it?
I think
this
they
may be
have to.
what we're talking about this season, is like trying to find it, or
I mean, I think the goal is going to be to try to find a cure, but I don't think they will.
this is what we talked about last week. I was saying it had to be more than survival, because otherwise survival can get pretty tedious. Is the only thing that they're trying to do. So this is in the greater arc, I should say. That it could be the season would be about finding a cure or working towards it or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm just guessing. That's what I think they're laying in.
I think so too. Again, it's going to be real interesting because you can't find a cure. I guess. I mean, maybe let's say they find a cure at the end of this season. Then season 3 is okay. We have to implement the cure, and how do you go about doing that, et cetera, et cetera.
And what kind of causes? What kind of side effects, or what kind of problems might it create, and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
because just because you are looking for a cure doesn't mean you can find it. It doesn't mean the cure you have is going to create bigger problems.
Yeah.
So we've seen that. I mean, let's face it, chemo's not the greatest cure for cancer. So
Fair enough.
it has a few side effects.
Ben's a little too young to understand your humor.
No, I got it. So yeah.
All right. So
I'm
speaking,
gonna-
speaking of not feeling well, let's go to T-Dog and his fever.
That was
Yeah.
pretty funny.
I know that was pretty funny, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So
I love how he's concerned about being the first to be lynched in their society.
Yeah. In the new
world order.
Exactly. He's the first. He's worried about anything so the weakest. Because
Yeah.
I love the way Dale was just like, "What are you talking about?"
I'm surprised. I'm actually surprised he did live from that. You know what I mean?
From-
just from the last episode.
Oh, really?
Well,
I thought he was gonna get killed off.
That was
or-
I thought he was going to.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, that's a nasty cut, man. And first of all, it was kind of easily fixed, if you ask me. I wanted to have more trouble for them, stop, because that thing was bleeding like crazy. And I love the fact that he's got some sort of infection. That seems absolutely real to me, and it's great. It creates great conflict. I'm sorry laughing because of course Daryl's got drugs.
Yeah. Why didn't you ask me? I've got my brother's stash.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah. And so Daryl keeps coming to his defense.
Yeah.
Keeps coming to his safety.
Yeah, and
he's saving his life.
T-Dog's worried that
Yeah.
Daryl's gonna kill
Because
him.
the fever's already getting to his brain. He's making him not think it through, and I thought that was terrific. I just love that.
Yeah.
I thought him going off into some crazy, demented thing. I thought that was great. I love that doing that. So, what was the other thing? You have anything else you guys want to cover? What was the other things that we were talking about that you wanted to chat with?
Well, I did want to say, we kind of mentioned how it was kind of funny that there was a doctor or whatever right then and there.
Right. And a volunteer EMT guy.
Yes. I think in this sort of world, I think the greatest currency would be like, hey, I'll trade you. We have a medic.
Yeah.
And but we also need we have 2 medics actually.
Yeah.
And we need let's say I don't know a chef. I don't know.
Exactly. I know,
But
you gotta be, your skill set's very
Yeah,
important.
yes,
The
your
broader it
skills-
is, the more
I would
capital
say
you have.
in this world. Your
Or-
skills are your currency.
Exactly.
Or like, would you be like, I'll trade you 2 of kind of Andrea types who can kind of just keep watch and just watch clothes or
Not
something
really
like
good
that.
at
for-
anything special.
Watch clothes.
I mean, I think I would love to see kind of that bigger aspect, and I think the reflection it has for today's world is that to an extent everyone kind of has to have more skill sets.
You think so? So do you think they're making that comment?
I
Or do you
think
think it
so.
just happens to be that?
I think you have to. I think they are kind of making. It's a
Yeah.
smart enough show that they would be commenting on something like that.
Well, they were making. What was the comment they were making? Was it last week? It was almost. Oh, we were talking about. They were talking about gun control, and we were talking about the right to life,
Life,
choose, and all this other stuff, the pro-choice and stuff like that. All these little moments of a political statement, but then like backing out of it. And, like that's all they were going to talk about.
Yeah.
So this is their comment on you need a wide breadth of skill set in order to survive in today's economy.
That's right.
So I wonder if they're actually thought about that. That everything's going to hell in our society. So what better outward manifestation than a bunch of zombies?
Yeah.
I wonder if that's at all in their thinking.
Well, I mean, we're making all these comments, but we have to remember this is based off of a graphic novel.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess they do have options, but they're story-wise and everything. And never mind.
No, it's a good point. But here's the thing. I mean, because they're playing, for instance, MASH, in the 70s,
Yeah.
that was based off a novel, and then it's supposed to be in the Korean War, but really they were making commentary on the Vietnam War. I'm just wondering, the TV has a long history of, quote, it being about one thing, but it's really a comment on something at current times.
Yeah, even Boardwalk Empire.
Exactly. That's the same kind of thing that's going on right now with Boardwalk. And why wouldn't you, as a writer, make comments on what's happening now in society? Because it just adds to the depth of the show.
I mean, it's how. Well, the whole point being is okay. You want to relate to viewers.
Mhm.
Like, why on earth would you say it really doesn't relate to any of our lives?
Exactly.
Oh, well, why the hell should I watch it? It has
Yeah.
no effect on my life.
Yeah.
So
Because you still get all the fun
Yeah,
kills.
to see zombies explode.
yeah, well, if we're not really seeing that, then I would hope that they're at least trying to comment.
Something, yeah. So, we got to have one or the other. Hopefully we get both.
That's right. So that's it for me.
Well, let's take us to our first commercial, shall we?
Want to find out what the AfterBuzz is about?
This is the divide that is going to carry the series.
Give us a call. 424-256-1729. 424-256-1729.
Television, and they want to be as dramatic as possible.
Means Siberian.
You never know what goes on behind closed doors.
Find out why AfterBuzz TV is the #1 source for after-show content.
Now, in the eyes of Jimmy, Nucky is a villain.
424-256-1729. 424-256-1729.
I mean, who would you rather hear that from? Your husband or your husband?
The wig!
When the TV show is over, get your AfterBuzz on. AfterBuzz TV News.
And we're back.
We're back.
Mr. Ben Bottomley, would you please give us a...
So
As read by a 4th grader.
yeah, The Walking Dead season 2 is in full swing on AMC, which we are aware of. So why wouldn't you want to buy the season 1 at a discounted price? For the next week, Amazon is selling The Walking Dead season 1 standard and special edition sets for 59% and 50% off their list prices respectively.
Get out!
I'm serious. The first release of The Walking Dead season 1 on Blu-ray back in March is priced at $20.49, way down from its $49.99 list price.
Whoa, that's a huge discount.
Yo!
The newer and more robust Walking Dead season 1 special edition, release that spans 3 discs, is priced at $29.99, half off its $59.97 list price.
Whoa, I got scammed. I got the 2-disc set. Damn. But see, here's like the double entendre for me. Like, I know, especially like even with movies, you get the trilogy and all that, and there's gonna be like a 20-disc box set. But you're like, I just want to watch it now. And so you spend like the $25 on that, and then it comes out, and you're like, damn, I want the 20 discs. So go out and get yourself a 3-disc special, like me, and then give the 2-disc special to Ben.
Or John. John has
I got it right now.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
As if the record-breaking ratings weren't a big enough sign, some pretty cool news is coming out of the Undead Festival in Asbury Park, New Jersey, where quite a few zombies from AMC's The Walking Dead have gathered to take a bite out of the franchise. Fan base, not franchise, I wasn't looking. According to our man on the scene, Nomad, sources at the show are saying that AMC has already greenlit the series for a 3rd season. File this one under no-brainer until the official confirmation comes.
Much like our walkers, no brainer.
In this latest season of The Walking Dead, the survivors arrive at Herschel's farm, where we meet Herschel Green, his daughter Maggie, and middle-aged ranch foreman Otis.
I like Otis.
Otis, yeah.
Otis did a nice job. He's always seen him in a lot of things. He does a really good job.
And by the way, this is news from fan site.
Yeah. We don't have a man on the scene.
We don't.
Yeah, we don't have a man.
It's the Undead. It's the Undead.
That's the fan site?
It's yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Check it
Undead.
out. Go look up Undead.
There you go.
So, when it was originally revealed that Stephen King, along with his son Joe Hill, would write either a Season 2 or Season 3 episode of The Walking Dead, horror fans rejoiced. One of the writers' many credits includes Cell, a very frightening and intense novel featuring zombies, and this alone resulted in excitement being at an all-time high. Unfortunately, Bleeding Cool have now broken the news that King will no longer be penning an episode of the show. Why? Well, Bleeding Cool have heard from a good source near the show that the moment Stephen King's plan to write an episode of The Walking Dead with his son was extinguished the moment that Frank Darabont came unbound from the show. What a shame. However, I suppose it shouldn't come as too much of a surprise considering the close relationship between King and Darabont.
So, do we know any more about that?
I don't know.
Maybe was that the last straw, or was it the only straw? For Frank. I mean, you were talking the other day about how Frank, really was. It was more about the pace, trying to put together the show in such a quick pace and stuff like that.
I mean,
that was part of his
how many?
decision to leave.
Frank's never really done a show, correct?
No, well, as far as I know, he's on movies. I don't know about
so
his
movies.
TV,
I mean, here's the thing, right? John, you and I are producers of a movie. You're also an actor. For those of you wondering, it's Serial Buddy starring Chris Lloyd, Kathy Lee Gifford, and all those people.
Good plug.
But nonetheless, it almost took us 3 years to make that movie.
Sure.
And there's a comedy.
Yeah.
So when you have to do 12 episodes of basically kind of a movie, that's intense. Really, really intense.
Yeah, especially if you're used to spending more time and being able to make a movie you want to make.
So I don't know if that's just the PR or what it is, but I could definitely see that as a reason why he left, and to some extent, hopefully he got to walk away quietly versus like AMC saying you're a terrible showrunner. You know what I mean?
Wow. Did they?
No, I don't know.
Oh, okay, I was just gonna say.
But I'm just saying.
You're breaking some news right here.
No. I really want to believe that Frank chose to go on his own, and it's disappointing. However, at the same time, I guess Noble, like, okay, we get it.
Yeah.
You're more of a movie guy. You want to create perfection.
From what I read, it was more his choice, but again, we don't really know.
We don't.
We'll get on the phone. Give him a call.
Yeah.
All right, let me
just Google his number.
Well, he's obviously tremendous talent. He makes great films, so there's no loss in the film, and we could hopefully see more film from him. So, look forward to that.
Redemption 2.
Redemption. Oh, good. We're calling Frank. That's nice.
Well, we're calling the second best guy we know, Ian Kaiser, who's
Ian,
a comic book geek, so at least he can help us out on that side. But after this, you want to go to predictions?
Absolutely.
Well, Ian's probably not. Actually, he might.
I'm going to get his voicemail.
No, what's hanging?
Ian.
Hey, Ian Kaiser, you are on with John Comerford, Ben Bonley, and Phil Svitek on AfterBuzz TV's Walking Dead edition.
How's it going, guys?
Hey, good. We need some skinny. You're the guy we're coming to for the info.
Okay, yeah.
Ian, you're a comic book geek. Have you ever read The Walking Dead?
I did. I was with the series. I think I read, I was reading as the trade paperbacks came out, because I don't really do the monthly thing. And I think I read the first 3 or 4 of the trades.
And you find it fascinating?
Fan of the series.
You're a fan, okay? So you find it fascinating, intriguing, all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, the comic was really well done, and because of that, I watched the first season of The Walking Dead on television, and I enjoyed that very much.
Ian, how does it differ, the show to the comic book?
Well, it's been a long time since I read the comic book, but it seems like there was definitely It seems like with the comic, some of the story arcs definitely had longer to kind of develop. And I don't know, maybe that's just because the season was such a short season. It was only, it seemed like a handful of episodes.
Yeah.
But obviously with the comic, monthly for, going on for years,
Yeah.
they took a long time to develop, every relationship and every, and every kind of turn that they take as this adventure goes, from being out in the wilderness to start going into the city, and then they end up, I don't know how much I should give away, I should be careful, but they end up going to an old penitentiary and taking that over, and then an old farm that they
can
take
look
over for a
forward
while.
to
So they go through a lot of different phases,
Ian,
and each one had a lot of time to build.
Okay.
Do you think we can look forward to this? I know because the writer said they want to kind of stray away, but what do you think's within the comic book world? What is a place that you just mentioned, the penitentiary? Like, where do these guys have to go? What's something you can't miss out to not make the comic book readers angry?
Well, here's something in general, I think, with comic book readers. I think you just have to give them, little, little treats, little references to things.
A taste
so
of the comic book, yeah.
Yeah, but I think in terms of big picture, I think you almost disservice whatever new medium you're trying to tell the story in when you try to be too faithful to
right.
an
Because you have to use the medium you're in.
of a comic.
Yeah.
What's that?
Because you have to use the medium you're in.
Exactly, and I think that's why some comic book movies have been more successful than others, because Batman Begins or something that really kind of takes the world and the characters and expands on it and does its own thing in a way, but it doesn't necessarily hold true to the exact origins of something like that. I think is important.
Well, speaking to that, so when you bring in quote it to life, pardon the pun, with The Walking Dead, do you think it loses something in translation? Because if you've been reading a comic and you're because you have to create that world and what that person sounds like, what all that kind of stuff. So do you like that transition, or sometimes is it unnerving for you when you go from reading the comic to seeing it actually in a library, whether it be a movie or TV?
I don't know if this is a universal thing, but for me, any time that and it's odd, I think it's usually in whatever medium I see it in, that's how I view the material, and sometimes it's hard to get over. I have the same thing with, novels that I read and then see the movie adaptation.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know, it seems like the first thing you see it and you're going to be kind of a purist for the life of that thing.
But it seems in this case that a lot of the fans, they're very happy with it, or completely taken with the series as they were happy with the comic.
Yeah, and how do people, since I haven't seen the second season, I can just provoke some discussion. I don't know if you guys have touched on this yet, but I'm curious how the absence of Frank Darabont has affected the show and how you think his departure will affect it in the future.
Well, let me answer your question with another question. Ooh. What do you know about Frank Darabont leaving? Do you know more details than we do? Because we just heard our conclusion is that he's a movie guy, and so he likes to take his time. Doing 12 episodes is a rigorous pace that he's not used to, and so he just decided to leave. Do you have anything on the difference?
I don't want to tell tales out of school, but no, it sounded like there was a lot of differences about how the course of the show should go, and I don't know any of the specifics on that, but it seemed like that's what a lot of the chat on the internet anyway.
Well, had you heard anything regarding the timing of how Stephen King pulled out of writing an episode of Frank Darabont, stepping out?
Oh no, that's interesting though. That's very.
So you hadn't heard that? Okay.
No.
Okay.
But it seemed like everything was really attributing a lot of the first season success, and the reason why it was such a strong adaptation to him. So it'll be interesting to see
if they maintain that quality
goes.
or that faithfulness. I don't have any prediction on that.
Well, it's tough to say. I mean, because I believe he was there for episode 1 and 2. You know what I mean? So, and I guess fans were a little bit disappointed with episode 1. But so, do you attribute that to Frank? I don't know how you weigh that. All its possibilities.
Right.
Like, is his responsibility for the season being bad like 30%? Is it for if it's good? Is it like 51%?
It's 24.2.
If it's bad, his responsibility is 0. But if it's good, it's all him.
What are you, PR person?
Yes.
Well, guys,
Well, it certainly seems like that's as we talked about, like a Vince Gilligan or somebody like that.
Yeah.
Certainly seems to, I don't know, regardless of what their exact role, they seem to be get all the credit or all the the
they put the team together.
kind of blame if it doesn't go well.
Yeah.
So
That's the position they're in.
it is.
yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. And you got any predictions for us as we move into our prediction section?
No, I'm going to be a better caller. When you call me in the future, I'm going to get totally caught up on the comic, and then I'll be able to provide some further insights into where I think, with much better accuracy, I'll be able to predict the future of the show.
I don't think it could get better, Ian. But hey, if you can, bring it on. I'm happy to hear it.
Ian, the big question. Let me ask you this: we're talking, that it can't just be survival. So, is there a goal that within the comic books that they start to take? John's thing is he wants to find a cure.
I think that they'll want to move into that area.
Is that
honestly? And this is like the graphic novels usually are like 4 to 6 issues, and I think I've read like 4 of the collected things. So it's got to be like, I don't know, like maybe 2 years worth of material, and it didn't seem like they got too into like cure talk. And
really? But did they have a goal?
They really wanted to focus on. It seemed to me, and this is everything I read from the writer of the comic. It seemed like it was the focus was on human interaction, and the zombie thing was just kind of like giving it an interesting face. But let's say like end of the world scenario, and how do people treat other people, and what are their personal human relationships like, and those things. And I don't know. I think that's what will make the show successful. I don't know, too into the zombies. I think the interesting part is usually what the relationships that these people have and the things they deal with each other.
Okay.
All right.
So, I don't know. We'll see. The whole face of it could all be searching for a cure, and it could go that way with it.
All right. Well, thank you, Ian.
Ian Kaiser, ladies and gentlemen.
Ian, here's a bumper just for you.
Unnecessary roughness.
All right, Ian.
I don't know what I did to deserve that one, but I'll accept it. I'm sure we're going to own those bumpers as we go. Yeah, we'll
personal
get
foul.
with them.
You got 15 yards on the play.
That's right. Well, it's because he didn't know the reason why Frank left. Anyway, Ian, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Ian.
We'll be in touch in the future, guys.
Pleasure to talk to you.
Pleasure.
All right, bye.
All right, guys. So what are your predictions before we head out?
Well, I think because it's TV, I think they're going to have to do more than just survive. I completely agree that the whole premise of the show, which is how do humans interact with each other in a horrible situation, and do we maintain our civility? Do villains become heroes, vice versa, that kind of thing? What happens when you're stuck in that bubble, being on the lifeboat, so to speak? So I think that's obviously compelling. But I just think for an overarching theme, I think they just have to have some other drive than just survive, because that gets awfully tiring.
And I think for us, at least for me, what I'm saying is, while I love the human interactions and things like that, it kind of gets boring. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, in Ian's point, the different mediums, we want to see the kills.
Yeah. Well,
so, you know what I mean? That's what Ben and I tune into. That's what the 5 million viewers or so
tune
into.
That's true. I'm sure it is.
So, Ben?
I'm going to make a more immediate prediction.
What's that?
Otis is, I don't think he's going to make it.
Yeah, we were talking about that during the show. It's because he felt so responsible about Carl.
He had that line
about
bringing Rick's gun
back. The way they showed him hugging his wife and everything, it looks like he's going to have to...
Also, he's fat.
Go without... Yeah, he's fat. And he's going to be really tasty for those guys.
Yeah.
He's going to say, go, I'll hold him back, or I'll create some sort of version, so go save the kid, that kind of thing.
But I think that's what's going to happen, and I'm really looking forward to it, actually, because...
You think he's going to take a bunch out with him?
Well, Or
do you think he's just going to get eaten?
Well, I'm fairly certain. That means I'm just trying to piece together where we are now and scenes that I've seen from the trailers, and there was an extended trailer they released that opened with Shane just running, and he turns around and is angrily shooting at a massive horde behind him.
Is it nighttime like this?
It's daytime.
It's daytime. All right. So they
that
might
might mean
there.
that he's going to be there a while, and that might mean that we're going to get a lot of really good zombie kills.
He's going to lead him right back to the farmhouse.
You know what's interesting though too is that this trailer that was released, I think it was during Comic-Con. Yeah. You would expect it, like kind of all things, that they're pieced together from the first 3 or 4 episodes.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem like most of it was.
Well, we've only seen the 2. So.
Yeah, we don't know.
Okay, so everything from the trailers in the 3rd episode.
Well, you saw that.
You saw nothing in the trailer. You didn't see anything from the first episode of the trailer.
We've seen something from the trailer.
I guess, but not enough.
But this was a lot of build-up. These episodes, or at least this one.
Definitely this one was. Yeah.
I think, and you saw that preview for next week. They used scenes from the trailer in the coming up sequence alone. So I think we're going to get a lot more of that.
Everything from the teaser is episode 3.
Which is interesting because normally you would come out of it's swinging, and then you'd have a lull in your 3rd, 4th.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know. I'm agreeing with you. I'm just agreeing with you.
Anyway, all right.
No, they're doing it back.
Oh, we forgot to ask. By the way, Ian Kaiser is a great comic book artist, or he's whatever. Check him out online, Ian Kaiser. That's Keiser. If you gotta know, if you forget this and you don't know his spelling, just look up the movie Serial Buddies. He's a producer on it.
There you go. Serial Buddies. He's a movie in that. What movie is that?
Serial Buddies is the first serial killer buddy movie of all time.
Oh my God, who's in that?
John Comerford, among Christopher Lloyd.
There you go. That's
Kathy Lee Gifford, Artie Lang,
Thank you.
Kristen McDonald, and all these other people.
And Beth Bears, 2 Broke Girls in it.
Yes.
Nice. Maria Menounos.
Paul Ashton.
Jack the Sopranos.
Yes, David Duvall.
Yes. And so amazing cameos by a lot of great people.
Editing is amazing.
It is. But anyways,
Hal Sparks.
what did you? I don't know what you're saying. Do you have anything from up, Ben?
Christian Bale.
What are you talking
All
about?
right, Glenn promotes Christian
I
Bale.
think he's got a fever, like T-Dog. I think there's something seriously wrong with him at the moment.
I think there is. John Tick's out of here.
All
What
right,
do you got?
ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us for another Walking Dead podcast from AfterBuzz TV Season 2, Episode 2, Bloodletting. My name is John Comerford. I'm here with Ben Riley and Phil Svitek. We are out.
And by the way, check us out live at ustream.tv/AfterBuzzTV2 next week.
From producers Kevin Undergaro and Phil Svitek, engineer DJ Jesse Janity, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. If you have questions or comments, be sure to buzz us at info@AfterBuzzTV.com. And you can find us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter by searching for AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
Unnecessary roughness. The views expressed herein are those of the host only, do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Exactly. Because it's the survival of the fittest, not the survival of the fastest.
Yeah.
So, and he's hobbled, so they're kind of on even ground. So, and seriously, so that's what I thought was so great about not only this character, but that choice. Okay, either we both die here, or one of us can die, and one of us can save the kid.
Yeah.
Now,
I don't want to die.
Exactly.
So, sorry.
If that was your choice, why is it that you get to live? Why doesn't Otis get to live?
Well, because Otis is fat.
Exactly.
That's
That
why-
is exactly what I was